Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So happy Saturday. Unfortunately, today I have to talk about some bad things that are happening overseas. In particular, the British pound, the euro, the Japanese yen, foreign currencies that are absolutely being decimated and collapsing against the dollar. So how should we prepare? Is it time to load up more on Bitcoin and crypto? Let's discuss. So, smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified of all my streams. Follow me on social media, check out CryptosRUs.com, and follow my other channels as well. I did have a new video posted on I Am George channel this morning, so make sure you check that out as well. All right, guys, welcome. Let's see what's going on today. Well, you can see Bitcoin hasn't moved around 19,000. So not much excitement. Overall market cap has gone up a little bit, about 3%. So that's definitely good, moving in the right direction. However, just paying attention to what's going on overseas, it's just not a good situation. Not a good situation at all. So let's take a look at the DXY. And many people in the space are eyeing the DXY because the DXY has been on an absolute tear, and it just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And in case you don't know what the DXY is, it's basically showing the strength of a dollar versus other currencies. So on Wikipedia, you could see this. It's a weighted mean. And you can see that the dollar is weighted against the euro, 57% weight. And then you have the Japanese yen at 13%, the British pound or sterling at 12%. Then you have the Canadian dollar, 9%, Swedish krona, and then the Swiss franc. So basically, you're comparing all these major foreign currencies against the dollar. That is what the dollar index is, the DXY. And it continues to go up and up and up and up. And whenever this happens, is never good for anything. Any kind of investment out there, really, you see everything drop when the DXY is going up. And that's why so many people are paying attention to it, looking at it. And you have a lot of traders that are trying to predict the top for the DXY. Because if you do, and you could see that a reversal is going to happen, well, then it's a perfect time to be stocking up. Technically, that would be the bottom. However, this is not an easy thing to chart. So this one guy on Twitter, DJ, is looking at how, well, if you're looking at the Fibonacci level of where the DXY is, this is a time, right? Basically a time that it's going to peak and come down. And yesterday, the day before yesterday, the whole week, I've been covering about the DXY from 110, 111, 112. Right now, it's sitting at 113. So many people are eyeing this. But here's my thing. Here's my thoughts. You could chart the DXY all day long. You could look at all these levels and Elliott waves and Fibonacci levels and moving averages. You could chart DXY all day, every day. But it's not going to come down unless something happens with the foreign currencies that the dollar is weighted against. So, I've been covering a lot about what's going on overseas. A lot of you guys are watching from the UK. And just on Friday, I was talking about the British pound going down to about $1.11. And that's already a 30-year low. I checked today, it's even worse. 109. We're talking about getting to basically parity maybe by the end of this week. So that's a absolutely huge collapse. And you can see over one day, it's a huge collapse. Currencies are not supposed to be moving this much, this fast within such a short amount of time. And that is because no one liked the new tax cut plan that was released on Friday, where the government actually came out and said, well, first of all, the central bank, the Bank of England, came out and said, well, we're going to be more dovish. The expected rate hike was lower than expectations. And then the government came out and said, well, we are going to have a lot of tax cuts too. So then economists and traders are thinking, okay, won't these things make inflation worse? First of all, the rates were not increased as much as they should have. And second of all, now that you have tax cuts, where's the money coming from? Then does that mean that there's going to be more borrowing? And the answer is yes. So people are not happy about this. And that is why the British pound, the sterling, is crashing. And it's at the lowest level since 1985. So not good. Not good at all. But it's not just the UK. The entire Eurozone, the euro collapsed even more. Now the euro is less than $1, 0.97. 1 euro equals $0.97. And this is mostly because of what's going on in Germany. The euro, very heavily dependent on Germany and their economy. And their economy is not doing well right now because of the whole situation with Russia, with war, and everything else that's going on. So the euro is also collapsing. But let's not forget Japan, too. Japan is the only country in the world right now where they still maintain a negative interest rate, despite the fact they have horrible inflation along with everyone else. It's gotten so bad that they had to intervene the first time since 1998 because the Japanese yen is absolutely collapsing, even more so than the sterling or the euro. And this is the reason why the DXY, the dollar strength, continues to go up, because what's happening overseas is bad. It's very bad. It's way worse than what we're experiencing in the U.S. We may be complaining about Powell. We may be complaining about how he's so hawkish and how the Fed keeps raising rates. But if you're looking at what other countries are doing, which is taking a more dovish stand, they are actually making things worse right now. And that's the reason why the DXY is so strong. But what does that mean? With DXY so high, with the strength of the dollar so strong, with yields on treasury notes and bonds so sky high, what does that mean? How should we prepare? Well, near term, these things are not going to lead to good things. When everyone is putting their money into the dollar and treasury notes, that's where the money sits. Worldwide, everyone is putting their money into the U.S. treasury notes and bonds because it's like the surest thing to protect wealth during the short-term period. But let me remind you guys and give you an alternative, and that is Bitcoin. Rather than try to put it into treasury notes and bonds, you may want to look at Bitcoin, and most of you guys already do. But look at Bitcoin's inflation rate. Unlike the inflation rate of the U.S., which is at 8.2%, unlike the inflation rate of the UK is at 9.9%, unlike the inflation rate of the Eurozone, which is 9.6%, and the inflation rate of other countries around the world, which are in double digits and higher. Bitcoin's inflation rate is only around 1.71 right now. And that 1.71 will get cut in half to 0.86 by 2024, and it keeps getting cut in half because that is what the halving event does. And it's programmed. We know it's coming. It doesn't change its date. It's not like anyone can flip a switch and say, okay, let's just increase the inflation by 5% this year. No, it can't happen. You don't have central banks or governments that can apply monetary policy or quantitative easing or tightening and all the other stuff that they do. Bitcoin is set, controlled by code, controlled by the people, non-sovereign. You don't have to worry about leaders or incompetent decisions. This is why I do believe more and more people need to understand what Bitcoin is all about. There's so many aspects to Bitcoin that people don't quite understand. And if you do understand, then you realize, well, why would I not be holding on to Bitcoin? And here's another visual in terms of how many Bitcoins get produced or found within a block. Before in 2011, it was about 50 per block. Then in 2015, it's 25. Then starting from 2017 and going all the way up to 2020, it's only 12.5. And currently right now it's 6.3. And like I said, after the next halving event, you're only going to have 3.15 come out per block. And that 3.15 will get cut down to 1.5. Sorry, I got cut off there, so I had to stop myself. Bitcoin has a finite supply, cannot inflate infinitely like the dollar, like the euro, like the yen, like any other currency out there. There's no set supply. They are infinite, and you can make more, or you can always find more. So even assets like gold, you could find more. You can't create more Bitcoin. Whenever there is a fork, that is no longer Bitcoin. That becomes an altcoin. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. So that's the important thing. I think the naysayers will always say, well, yeah, you could just fork off Bitcoin and create more. No, because if you fork it off, it's not Bitcoin. It's an altcoin. So I do believe more and more people around the world, slowly but surely, is paying attention and truly understand what Bitcoin is all about. And I'm not only talking about the inflation aspect, but not even decentralized network aspect. And that's a huge piece, right? But more and more people are starting to understand, starting to pay attention what the governments around the world are doing. And it's unsustainable. It's unsustainable if, like, I'm not the most expert in this, but learning about how the U.S. government works, how there's a massive deficit and how there's a deficit every single year, and how we can only afford to pay interest and not even to pay off any of the debt that we have, and how rolls and rolls and rolls with new treasury notes and bonds being issued. Well, it just sounds like a giant mess that one day will collapse. And when it does, people will turn to something better. Probably Bitcoin at that point. It might not be anytime soon, but eventually people are coming to realize we need something better, and that is Bitcoin, right? And as for some other metrics, some good stuff in terms of why it is a good time to buy, besides everything I've just said, well, there's still a lot of models and indicators like this one, which is a pretty bullish one. This is the 50 weekly moving average crossing below the 100 weekly moving average. And you can see that the two times before that has happened in 2015 and 2019. When that happened, that was actually a pretty good buy point, because Bitcoin shortly after rallied hard and went on multi-year rallies afterwards. So we have just crossed through there. So that's a pretty good bullish indicator. And here's another one that is measuring short-term holders and long-term holders. I'm not exactly sure the criteria for this, but it shows pretty much the same thing. The last two times it happened, 2015, 2019, and it just happened right now in 2022. So again, two models that show, hey, if you're thinking about getting Bitcoin, this is the perfect time to do so, and could be a really good time to stock up before the collapse of all these currencies around the world. All right, so that's what I want to lead off with. As for other crypto news, well, there's a few other things. I know Chainlink is doing well today, and Chainlink is having their SmartCon. So you could learn a lot more about what's going on with Chainlink and all the stuff that's happening within. I haven't heard much about Chainlink, honestly. The last thing was their bridge, which they've been talking about for a while. I haven't heard much about it, but we'll see if there's anything else that comes out. So this could explain why Chainlink is doing pretty good today. Cosmos is also going to have their Cosmos verse, which is coming up in a couple days, right? Exciting stuff. Probably going to be coming out of here. And Cosmos, we know, has been pretty strong as of late. Also, as for NFTs, Solana is actually having a good day today. Solana's founder and totally thinks that NFTs could spawn the next Marvel or Disney because of the IP, intellectual property that you can attain from NFTs. So it's kind of a new way of validating and verifying and making sure that your property is not fraudulent or used without your consent. Basically IP. And he believes that it could spawn the next Marvel or Disney. I don't know. That's a little ambitious at this point. I still remember. I'm old enough to remember when Angry Birds was the big thing, and the company behind it, Roxio, was going to become the next Disney, and they were going to come out with theme parks and stuff like that. That seems to have really died down. So I don't know. That's but maybe one day. Maybe not anytime soon, but maybe one day. And then lastly, I saw this, which is not good, but supposedly Apple is imposing its 30% rule on NFT trades within app, meaning that if you're trying to sell or buy or whatever that you're doing with NFT trades, Apple wants 30% cut. This is the first time I'm hearing about this, so I don't know if you guys have experience with it, but that would be absolutely horrendous. It would be a big mistake for Apple to try to enforce that, because then every single NFT app will just go to Google and go to Android instead, because 30% cut is massive, massive. Oh, and lastly, USDT goes live on Polkadot. Not that I really support USDT, but it is the biggest stablecoin out there. We'll bring more liquidity to Polkadot, so I guess it's a good thing for Polkadot, but still not a fan of USDT overall. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Bitcoin is, like I said at the beginning, holding steady at 19.1, 19.2. And then entire market is going up a little bit. So overall, not a bad way to start a Saturday morning, afternoon, night, wherever you may be. But all right, let's do some Q&A. All right, scrolling up. Let me see if I missed anything. Greetings from Denmark. Welcome. Let's see. I did read an article. I guess the good thing about if you're in the U.S. with the euro and the pound getting cheaper, great time to be taking a vacation. That's what I read. Not that a lot of people are taking vacations right now as the economy turns sour and as people worry about their finances. But, the bright side is that it gets cheaper to visit Europe, but it gets more expensive to visit the U.S. And as for trade, it's going to really offset things. That means Americans or American companies can buy goods from other countries, buy a lot more of it. So that's good, because that could help our supply chain issues, or supply shock issues, I should say. But it's bad because that means less will be buying from U.S. because the dollar is so strong. And if that's the case, then a lot of companies may not have good quarters, may not do so well near term, and may not be hiring as much, and maybe even firing. So yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that happens. I mean, with these currencies fluctuations, and currencies should not be fluctuating this much, but with this much up and down, it's not, there'll be long-lasting effects. Let's just put it that way. Jose, appreciate it. Hopefully, a lot of you guys, I know a lot of you guys didn't, but if you're curious, I do have my other video that I put on I Am George, my other channel, about my house build. So I'm excited about that. Also, I do have my car reviews on Drivers Only. So if you guys have nothing to do this weekend, make sure you check them out. Yeah, you know, I've been getting these cuts out of all of a sudden. You know, I don't quite know what's going on, but yeah, I do notice these cuts a lot, so I'm gonna have to look into them. Adrian, could the U.S. just create infinite money and buy all the BTC off? No, you can't. No, they can't. There's an interesting story about I think Rockefeller. So at one point in time, Rockefeller controlled most of the oil mining refineries in the U.S. and he wanted to control it all. He wanted to have a complete monopoly. So he started buying and buying and buying and buying. But it turned out to be an impossible task because people just started refineries and started jacking up the price. So it became basically too expensive to buy it all out. It'll be the same thing. If the U.S. government tries to buy all Bitcoin, the prices just go up infinitely, and people will just keep holding on for a higher price. People won't just sell off their Bitcoin no matter how high it goes because it keeps going up. So no, it can't happen. One lunch stream with you, Chris Larson, and Gina, that may take a while. That might take a while to set up. Noah, not crypto related. I picked up 2022 Genesis GV70. Congratulations. I reviewed that car. That's a nice car. You didn't get the EV version, right? Because there is a pure EV version. But it's a nice little car and looks great. For that segment, I think it's probably the best looking SUV there is. Any news on the Voyager situation? No Honda car guy. I'm sorry. Burr Visuals, appreciate it. You should check out DFX Finance. It has a lot of potential even in this bear market. No, sorry. I know you're just trying to show your bag, but a market cap of 10 million with no volume, not a good project to get into or look at right now. If Harmony One survives the bear market, what do you think it will go to the next bull run? If it survives, it could go back to its previous highs. So sure, that could happen, but they still have not figured out a way to replenish that 100 million lost. I'm glad to see that they're not just going to mint more tokens to kind of make up for it, but I don't know how they're going to recover from that. Hopefully they do. And if they do, they could get back to their previous highs, for sure. Everything's oversold. Yeah, it is, of course, compared to the previous high. I'm surprised that Cardano didn't move more because of the Vassal hard fork. So I kind of expected that to be a bigger driver, but no. Today, actually, surprisingly, is a good pump day for the meme coins. Doge is up about 6%. SHIB up about 12%. I didn't really hear much today. I may have missed something, but something drove them up. You go down the list, there's a small recovery with a lot of these other coins. Just a small little one. I'm still surprised that Ton Coin just came out of nowhere at a 1.6 billion market cap. I need to do more research in terms of what it's used for. Yeah. Favorite NFL team? I don't have one. I don't really follow football all that much. The only thing I follow is Tom Brady and how he's losing more and more weight because of his marital issues. And I don't mean to laugh at that, but it must suck. It must suck to be away from your wife and kids for over a month and still try to concentrate on football. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that. Yan says DXY may retrace only after hitting 115, 116. The previous high from like 10 years ago was around there. But, you know, again, we're not going to see anything that's going to cause the DXY to go down until foreign currencies gain strength again. And that may be a while. That may be a long while. So I'm not looking forward to that long while. Do I still follow the 50, 25, 25 rule in the bear market? Yeah. Things haven't changed. I haven't really moved all that much. I think right now, it shows you, like right now we're seeing that, especially the big caps, they're holding very, very strong. And a lot of the bigger mid caps are also holding very strong. And when I say holding strong versus Bitcoin, which is why Bitcoin dominance has not skyrocketed, it's still, look at it. Bitcoin dominance is at 38.9% right now. I mean, we have never ever seen this before, but it shows you the maturity in the market and how alts have just a ton of followers and holders that are just not selling. Satoshi, appreciate it. Why Ethereum became much volatility? You mean why has so much volatility? A lot of whales decided to dump it. Kind of the buy the room, sell the rumor. Buy the news, sell the rumor. No, buy the rumor, sell the news. But overall, I think it's temporary. I think Ethereum is going to go to much higher. It's going to go higher overall because the issuance has dropped tremendously. So there's just less of it. Basically, everything I was talking about today with inflation, right, with the over printing, over minting, all that stuff, and how Bitcoin doesn't have that problem, Ethereum kind of solved that problem by moving to proof of stake. Don't you think the low dominance BTC is because there's so much more stable coins? No. If you look at the overall stablecoin market cap, it's bigger than before, but it doesn't explain the lack of 40% of Bitcoin dominance versus before. And you could look at ETH dominance is still pretty high too. So no, the stable coins play a small role, but not a large role. Not the main role, I guess. Cal, appreciate it. Let's see. When you convert from BTC to any other coin without using the dollars, it's still counted a profit. Yes. If you made money, yes. Doesn't matter. Any trades. Chris, videography. Smash up the like button. Thanks, Short, for your daily fix of crypto info. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Try to get better with my videography. Trying to improve upon it. Slowly but surely. Not with my crypto videos, but more of my car videos. Golden, when you hold it, you earn Pax G. Yeah, anything that's crypto related that has anything to do with gold, I say no. Because first of all, we're in Bitcoin and crypto to get away from physical assets like gold. And second of all, I have no interest in them. Wash trade now if you're inclined. Yeah, you could do so. You could do so. Do a sports show soon. You know, Joshua, I would love to do that. I had that idea, and I did it for a little bit with one of my friends, but I'm just not, I don't keep up with sports. You know, I'm not a baseball guy, not a hockey guy, not a football guy, and I'm barely a basketball guy these days. You know, all the new rookies and young players in the league, I don't know who they are. I don't keep up with sports that much. I don't watch a lot of sports anymore. I just don't have time for it. I don't know who's been winning the last 2 weeks in the NFL. So I would love to do something, you know, fun like that, but, you know, just don't have the time for it. Yeah, some people are asking about Gala. I like Gala. They're a platform. They're not just a single game like a lot of other projects. They're a whole platform. So as the market comes back up and these NFT games and their NFT platform starts picking up again, I think Gala is going to recover in a big way. So, yeah. Sports cars instead, Nick says. It's hard to borrow sports cars. But yeah, I do want to do more of that in the future. Buy BTC ASIC miners as alts or add-ons to DCA? No. In my experience, if you want to get into Bitcoin, just use that money that you would put into the miners and put that into Bitcoin, and it's more profitable that way. Because if you're in a mining game, unless you're one of the big boys, where you could share like a warehouse or share cooling and maybe get a discount on electricity, you're better off to just use that money to buy Bitcoin. Scooby-Doo, you should do more detail on the process of building custom home. Well, I will after it starts building. Right now, there's not a whole lot to show, right? But as it starts building, and my wife and I will, you know, we still have to pick out a lot of stuff on the inside. I mean, we have the overall design picked out, but in terms of picking out a lot of the smaller things and the colors and like the stone and you know the knobs and the stuff that goes in the kitchen, appliances, right? There's a lot more that I could create videos on. So I think it'll be cool, but right now it's just like, hey, gotta dig the freaking thing, right? I've been waiting for that for 5 months. 5 months is finally here. Do I have any elevations I could share? I do. But here's the thing. Here's also the thing. Even though I want to share, I don't want to give out too much information about where the house is and a lot of the specific features. So I do have elevation chart, but I'm probably not going to show that. Thoughts on virtual mining from your phone? No. It's stupid because it's virtual and it's fake. It's fake mining. It's not real mining. Crypto Gamer, 81.4% approval rate to move to Solana is not forced. Great. I already covered that many times over the last week. All right, I think that's pretty much it. Any year-end BTC predictions? Between 30 to 40,000. I think realistically probably end around 30,000. But hey, who knows? If people are feeling good, we get a good momentum pump. Maybe we push up to 40,000. I think 40,000 off chance be the best case scenario. But more likely, maybe around 30,000. That's what I'm looking forward to in the last 3 months of this year. All right, guys. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel, pay attention to what's going on with foreign currencies, with other countries around the world, and how that's affecting the DXY, right? Right now, it's not looking good overseas. So this is a great time to look at something better, something that isn't controlled by the banks or central banks or the Fed or governments. It's time to look at Bitcoin if you haven't already. So have a good one, guys. I'll see you later tomorrow, same time, 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. And in the meantime, go check out my other channels as well. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.